Yeah, absolutely. You got to build the foundation first, and then you can start stacking the volume on top of it. You can't just full send. Unless you're me in your early high school career and you decide that German volume training is the way that you're going to build your foundation. But I don't know if that's a canon event for all of us or
What
if you went
what
through something similar.
what was the specifics of that? How did you set that up throughout the week?
The worst way ever. Mind you, I knew nothing, like nothing about training. So I would pick like three movements and just do a 10 by 10. So I remember in high school,
Like per day
um,
or per week?
like it was three movements like per day, but I was lifting like four times a week. So that's what I'm saying is like it was ridiculous. But it'd be like a compound and then a secondary, like an accessory type of thing. And granted, probably wasn't even the same day to day. I can't remember exactly what I was doing in high school because I was also mixing in like weightlifting because I started in weightlifting. Um,
So you're doing like
but yeah,
1,200 reps per week.
yeah, it
Makes
was just
sense. Yeah.
ridiculous. I would go into the weight room like after class. At the end of the day, we had like weights as a school. You could go in and you were expected to be there if you played sports, obviously. But I remember like my freshman year, I put 135 on the squat bar and I said, I'm going to do this for 100 reps today. And I went in and I did German volume training. And then I did the same thing with like 95 pounds on bench. And I like had these markers that I was like, I'm going to hit 135 on bench or 135 on squat for this day, and I'm going to hit 95 pounds on this day, and then I'm going to hit 185 on my deadlifts. And then if I wanted to work in my cleans, I would hit like, I think it was 135 there too or something with the most atrocious form. But yeah, I would just spam, and slowly it evolved, and I grew a couple brain cells and figured it out. So
Yeah.
that's how my foundation was laid.
German volume training is brutal. I've done some German volume training in my day, and it's brutal.
Like,
It is brutal. But
yeah.
it's kind of fun, but not for a long period of time, that's for sure. But I was doing CrossFit and coaching CrossFit for a number of years. And that's where I kind of got like really into the coaching world because I was coaching the best of the best. And at that
Mm-hmm.
time, we were just doing like an abusive amount of volume. But CrossFit itself is insanely high volume. So we were doing a lot of that stuff and it definitely works but these are athletes that were like they're already very well trained athletes. So they would come to me like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, I was a national champion in college." It's like, "All right, cool. So is everybody here except for they've been training as a professional for 4 years and you haven't. So get in line. We'll teach you how to be a
Get with the
pro.
program.
Yeah, we'll teach you how
Yeah.
to be a pro." But just having that background, they could handle things that normal people couldn't handle. So we were doing crazy shit. We're doing 2 to 3 workouts a day, a lot of days a week, and each session wasn't like as much volume, but it was a lot. And we would do like competitions of like the boys would do 225 back squat for 50 reps and basically who could do
Mm-hmm.
it in the fastest time. And we would do that. And it's like, okay, we're going to start off like you just have to do it in the least amount of sets possible until you can do it straight through. And then we got to the point where all the
Yeah.
guys could do 225 for 50 reps in a row and it'd be like 2 minutes or something like that. You're just banging through it. Those are just absolutely awful sets to do. But it's like you and you have like three of your homies that you're just battling every single day. Everyone's with each other all day, every day. So especially with CrossFit, there's so many different things to be good at. So it's like, okay, like you're just fighting tooth and nail just to not get your ass kicked. So when some dude goes up there and hits it 50 times in a row, you're like, oh, the only way that I can even think about beating this guy who's my homie, I'm not going to lose to him. I'm going to die out here if I have to. I have to do 50 reps in a
Yeah.
row, and your legs are on fire, your heart's pounding out of your chest.
You just gotta
You just got to
keep
do it, dude.
going.
You just got to do it. But yeah, we would do
Yeah.
that. I've done a number of like Russian squat cycles, and those are devastating. But it's just like a ton of volume at 80%, and then the volume starts to creep up to 85%, 90%, 95%.
Yeah.
And then in 6 weeks, you should be finishing with a 2 by 2 at 100%. So if you can do a 2 by 2 in 6 weeks with your previous max, it's pretty good, right? But it's
Yeah.
absolutely devastating. And it takes some guts to do that. But it's not the best. It's not the best way to do things. But again, I think that sometimes you can add that kind of stuff in for the short term to like, let's just ramp this up real quick. But you do
Yeah.
run the risk. So I saw like this one supplement brand that they post about stuff all the time, and both of our previous sponsors, and they were posting about like
Gotcha.
Smolov. I'm like, dude, you're like signing people up for injuries. Like clearly you've never done Smolov.
Dig him a
Okay.
grave right
And then
there.
you're telling like normal average people to do Smolov, like they'll break in half on like week 3. It's like a 12 or 15 week program. Like what are you doing? That's insane. So, but I will say this though. There's something to be said about doing crazy shit like that. It does make you believe that you can do
Absolutely.
anything. You feel like, all right, if I can do
It
that,
does.
I can do
So
this.
I was talking. Oh, I just made a video about this, and like some guy, there's like a science-based lifter guy that gets on on machines, and he does the stupidest shit on machines. Like he'll take like a chest-supported row and somehow turn it into like an adductor movement, and I'm like, dude, you look like you're humping this machine. Anyways, I digress. I stitched one of his videos. He's like, oh, deadlifts are vaulted. No, I'm a big believer that there are certain movements and certain programs that are built to not make you a pussy.
Yeah.
And those are some of them. You literally learn how to train so hard. Is it stupid? Yeah, it's so dumb. But I mean, if it ends up working out for your mindset, like I literally, like you said, I'm delusional in the gym. Like, give me a wake, I'll do it. I'll figure it out. That's how the other week you asked me how I set squat PRs and I don't need spotters. That's how I'm just delusional. I'm like,
Do or
I've been
die.
through the trenches.
Do or die.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna
I'm
put
like,
myself
whatever.
in a situation, sink or swim. But no, I'm
Yeah,
a big time
exactly.
believer in that. I try to put in gut check workouts every once in a while,
Hmm.
and I think once you get to a certain point, you don't really need those anymore. Where it's like, dude, I'm a fucking killer out here. But for my entire career, even now, I've said I'm gonna train you to be a killer first, and then I'll
Hmm.
teach you a sport. Because if you're just a fucking animal, you can luck your way into good technique. But if you're just like kind of a bitch, you're never gonna luck your way into just
You're not gonna push through.
yeah, you're never gonna do it. Like you're not gonna technique your way through some like mind bending lift that we need you to make right here, right now on this platform to win. But if you take some person that's just an absolute killer, again, you should I'm not downplaying technique. I'm just saying if I had to choose one, I'm gonna choose someone that's just a killer. And in order to be a killer, you gotta go through hard stuff. And it's important, I think, in your younger years when you're developing, because young people can just handle stuff better than old people, obviously. So you're doing stuff when you look back and you're like, bro, I'm just not afraid of this workout at all. Like compared to some of the stuff I used to do, like I'm not saying this is gonna be easy, but like this is gonna be hard. And when I would have new people come to the team when I had it in person, the first workout that you have to do is our dynamic lower body. And it is a lot of volume. It's hard.
Yeah.
The rest times are super short. So we're doing
Yeah.
we're doing 50 to 60% of your max plus 25 to 30% bands. And we're doing that for like 12 sets of 2, 10 sets of 3, something like that. And then we go, let's say squats, then we go right into deadlifts. Basically, that's like if we're doing 12 sets of 2, then we go into deadlifts and like a 6 sets of 3 or something. That first set of deadlifts is essentially your 13th set. So you're pretty much going right into it with maybe 2-minute break instead of 60 seconds. But people come in and these are like high level athletes. They come in and they're puking in the trash can because they can't handle that pace of the workout. And also like with that setup, with that percentage and the bands, it's heavy enough to where like you can, if something's off, you can still get through it, but you're gonna have to work harder than you want to. But to really hit it the right way, if you really hit it the right way, good speed down, good technique, you're explosive coming up, you can kind of push through it at a pretty fast pace. But if something goes off, you can still get through it, but you're going to start to grind through it. And with that much volume and that types of rest periods, like you don't want to have many of those. You're going to be in a tough spot. But they would come in and it's like,
Yeah.
dude, they would just be on the floor. And it would kind of just be a gauging of like, we know you're going to die. We know you're going to throw up. It's how you handle that. That's what we're looking for. So you get people that at the end of the workout, they'll be like, oh man, dude, I had to run to the bathroom and puke real quick. It's like, oh, you puked? Oh, cool. Like we didn't even notice. You didn't come back and were like bitching, oh my God, I gotta throw up. If you gotta throw up, just throw up. But you still have to do the workout. right? So just keep going. And then you get the people that bitch and moan about it and want like, a medal because they threw up and came back. It's like, bro, we've all been through
Yeah.
this. So, but the people that just handle it like a champ, that's what we're looking for because it's a mindset thing. Are you tough? If you're not tough, I can't do anything with you. You can get better, but you're not going to win. You're not going to go like stare down the barrel of some, dude from a different country and win if you're thinking you won an award because you did a hard workout. Get with the program.
Yeah.
So yeah, gut check workouts are
So
important.
would you rather, say if you had somebody, like just talking powerlifters specifically, say you had a powerlifter that was like top 10% on open powerlifting, but they lifted like a total pussy, like they had the natural talent that they were already top 10%, but they lifted like a pussy, or you had somebody that was like maybe top 40%, but they lifted like an absolute dog. Like you'd rather train the guy that was in the 40%.
All day. All day.
Yeah,
Because
I agree.
if you're a dog, my job is to teach you the sport. My job is to guide you. I don't care about top 10%. I care about top 1. Not 1%, top 1. So 10% means nothing to me. And if you're not a dog, getting to 9%, 8%, like that's going to be nearly impossible. But if you're a killer and you're at 40%, you just haven't trained right, and now you're in an environment where you will be training right. You haven't been coached right. You haven't been taught. Like maybe you're just new to the sport. You're inexperienced. I can work with a dog, but if you're not, like, you're just never gonna be the best. Who has won? That's not a fucking dog ever in history in anything. You take a ping pong player who wins a gold medal. That dude's a fucking dog, right? It's just in ping pong, right? But he has that same like killer instinct, and that you have to have that to win. So if you don't, I think that you can develop mental toughness for sure, but I think the people that are willing to do what it takes to develop mental toughness already have that to some degree anyway. And then you have the people that are like the genetic outliers that I've coached, that they're kind of the worst. The genetic outliers, a lot of them, they have relied on their athletic ability for their whole life. So they never had to go to that like dark place to get to that next level because they were already at that next level compared to everyone else. But it's easy to do that when you're a kid. It's easy to do that in high school. But once you start getting to the top of the game, it's like, okay, well, someone that's just a dog is going to outwork you long enough to be better, to beat your genetics. And if you don't work at the same level, you're not going to win. So when you do have people with the insane genetics and they're a dog, that's when you get like the Michael Phelpses and Lance Armstrongs and people like that out of the world, that they're just completely unbeatable. It's like, dude, I work harder than you, and my genetics are so much more elite than yours. Like, they're unstoppable. You will not beat that person. But those are very, very, very few and far between. So I've noticed that's like, give me some like, I use now. So at the gym I go to now, there's a broken locker, and that's the locker that I use. So it's like you have to like bang on it to get it to close. But really that's the best locker because I don't use a lock. I just put it in there. I get a bang on it to close. But when people try to open it, you gotta pull it and then like bang it to open it. That's the best locker. Because it's like, that's a piece of shit locker, but when people try to open it, they're just not going to do it. So the ones that have been through some shit, they're usually the best ones because like it takes that level of grind. That's like, that's what I want. Give me like the broken people, the people that have been through some shit, the rough childhoods. Like, those are the ones that are like, okay, they got some grit to them. They got enough grit to get them to the distance. But